What's good, everybody? Today I am extremely excited. I get to talk about Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon here on the channel. This is a brand new dark fantasy RPG dropping on May 23rd, CET at 5 p.m. If you are not already locked into this title, today I'm going to give you my impressions, my first thoughts, and all of that. And I'm going to be doing all types of tips, tricks, and guides, and everything else that you usually expect from my channel. If you don't want to miss out on all of the future goodness, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, sub, and I want to give a huge shout out to the dev team for sending me a copy of this game early. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into what this game is all about. So Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon is a dark fantasy RPG. It's going to remind you of some of your favorite titles, like I would say Dragon Age, Skyrim, who else? Oblivion. Those types of titles, that type of gritty, dark, like really fantasy driven worlds is the vibes that I get from this game. You have your quest, choices, monsters, and just a little bit of a narrative going that kind of you can be familiar with. Now, initially, I was trying to figure out who this game was for. I'm going to talk about the dev team, where they're from, and some information about them a little bit later. But first, when I first jumped into this game, it didn't originally click with me. Just to be completely transparent, the longer I played it, the more and more I saw of my favorite games. I just revealed so many different things that I've already, played in other titles that kind of just sucked me into the universe. And I was enjoying it the longer I played it. It was pretty amazing. Like, you could see so many influences of our old school favorite games right here in this title. You can see the passion that they had for those games and how they kind of wanted to mix something into their own universe and give it to us. I felt that. And the longer I spent here, when I got through the actual tutorial and everything, I really started to see the vision of what they were bringing to the table, and it became very enjoyable. The writing at times threw me off. Like, there's something called weirdness in this game, and it threw me the hell off. Like, bro, what the hell is weirdness? We could have come up with any other word besides weirdness, but you kind of see that they're not taking themselves too seriously. It's a game, they're having fun with it, and it has its own little, quirks to it that, it either drags you in or it's going to kick you back. So for a modern gamer, is it something that you might pick up and jump straight into? Possibly not. If you're an old school gamer and you really loved Oblivion and all those other titles, then this is going to be right up your alley. And I really think it's going to be polar opposites on the type of person or people that this game pulls in. Regardless, for me personally, I'm enjoying the title and I think it's pretty good, and I'm going to continue to play it in the near future. So if you don't want to miss out on those guides and everything else that I got coming, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Now let's talk a little bit about the studio. So the full name of the title is going to be the Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. The development team is called Questline. This is a 50+ people studio based in Poland. That was something new to me. I didn't even know. The publishers are Awakened Realms, and Questline is one of their interior teams, which is kind of cool. They had an early access launched back in March 30th, and this was like in 2023. And they're finally bringing it to all platforms that had Steam, PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. The launch date is tomorrow at May 23rd, CET 5 p.m. So it's definitely a must pick up, a must grab if you're interested in dark fantasies. Now, when it comes to the game length, it's about 50 to 70 hours depending on your play style and how you walk through games. And the languages, they have a lot of different language support here, which I was really excited to see. It has English voiceovers, Czech, Italian, Polish, Brazilian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, simplified Chinese. You have French, German, and you also had Japanese. I was so intrigued and happy to see that there's Japanese in this. I can actually play a game in Japanese ones if I wanted to just kick back, relax. So that really got me excited. Regardless, what is this thing all about and what are my personal feelings? So when I first picked up this title, the first thing that I thought to myself was Skyrim. Instantly. Like, there's so many different mechanics in the opening of the game that screamed Skyrim to me. For example, as you're running around and sneaking, you're going to level up the sneak skill. So that's something that you're going to be instantly familiar with as soon as you start doing different types of skills in the game. You're going to see all of your different skills progressing, and it's going to be very important to kind of figure out what type of build you want. For me, it was a mage. I love mages in all of these types of games. It seems to be the thing that I kind of drift over to. in every game, in every fantasy, I always have some type of mage character, some type of range thing going. You have archery, you have mage, you have daggers, you have swords. So you have different types of builds that you're able to do with this game. But for me, it was the little pew pew fire from the hand, you know, Mario type thing all day long. Now the combat for me was kind of scary in the beginning because it seems as if the enemies don't really play that game. I felt like I was doing a lot of kiting until I understood the dodge mechanic. So there's a dodge mechanic in this game that threw me for a loop. I wasn't ready for that. And that's kind of one thing that gave me a little bit of a different vibe from all the other games I'm used to in this type of series, because you have parry and dodging. And you can level up your dodging, of course, or your invasion the more you do it. And it's very important to kind of get used to the invasion system because it's going to save your life, but it uses a little bit of stamina. Of course, your magic or your mana, that is going to have its own gauge that recovers over time. It regens. You're going to have different types of mana potions and stuff that you can regen your mana a little bit quicker. But originally, you're going to be able to use your little spells until you run out of mana. You know, the typical gamer thing that we all know about. It's just basic, nothing too complicated. But I started to realize the different spells and different things that we had, it's going to get more complicated over time. And I was excited to see it. I can't wait to develop some type of really powerful mage in the game. Hopefully I can be a warlock or some type of character like that, because that's just where I like to drift off to when it comes to my dark fantasy titles. The cutscenes were actually really good. This game is going to have a lot, and I mean a lot of bug fixes and patches on day one. We have already bumped into some pretty interesting glitches and things that were found during this review period, and the dev team had sent me a long list of patch notes that I won't put in this video. I'll put that in a separate video once it launches tomorrow, and you guys can go ahead and check that out so you can go ahead and see what was fixed and to kind of iron out all the kinks and make sure that we're having a smooth launch period. Shout out to the dev team for getting this game out in the state that they did. It's pretty damn decent. I was surprised about the voice acting in the game. It kind of took me for a loop. I wasn't really expecting much, but the more that I heard the different voice actors, some of their lines were a little cheesy, but the voice acting was pretty much on point, which is to be highly praised for this type of studio, for me personally anyway. And sorry if I'm overly positive or optimistic about this game. This is probably one of my first games that I've ever covered that was given to me early from the dev team. So I kind of want to do them justice, not only for, you know, them as a dev team and their passion, but also my own personal passion here in the game. It's not the perfect experience that I've ever had in a dark fantasy RPG, but my opening hours with this title was extremely enjoyable. It took me a while to get into the flow of things, but once the game started to pick up, it really did drag me in, and I was surprised by that. But I do have a huge love for Skyrim and Oblivion and those types of titles, so it kind of just spoke with me and stuck. It might not stick with everybody. The immersion might not grab you when you're jumping into this journey, so this might be a very interesting cup of tea, and the choices that you're going to have to make throughout this entire journey will be very interesting to see how things turn out. But that's going to be my initial thoughts on how this game is opening up. Is it a buy? Is it something that you must have? I want to go ahead and get through day one first and see how that irons out, to see what type of bugs we're still left with after the day one patch drops, and then I'll be able to give you a definitive answer on my current verdict of the game. It's enjoyable. It's literally a 7 to 8 out of 10, which is not bad. It's something that you would definitely enjoy if you're into dark fantasy RPGs, and I'm definitely going to be covering more of this game in the near future. That's going to be all for today's video though. I have a lot more to get into, a lot more to sink my teeth into and play of this game before I give you more definitive thoughts and all of that stuff. So sorry I got my copy kind of late, and this is all I'm able to give you for now, but I will continue to look over this title. If you're interested in that, you know what to do. Smash the like button, sub so that you don't miss out on all the tips, tricks, guides, news, and everything you need to know about Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. This is your boy MSensei for Nato. Let me go ahead and get back into the game.